See me live on Facebook.
Good
Woohoo!
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the BIPOC Happy Hour today.
Hi.
BIPOC being Black, Indigenous people of color. Thank y'all for joining us. BIPOC is a projection of Minneapolis People of Color Pride. Today is August 31st, 2020.
20.
That's it. Now, I got the right year because sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, you got
So what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today?
blessed by the best.
Good stuff. So as we normally do, we try to have a conversation, have something to talk about. What are we doing today, guys?
Who you blessed by the best for, Kevin? What does that mean?
That means the best person or best entity that can bless a person has blessed me in a way that is indescribable.
Do they
Do
have a
you
name?
think? Do you think that has something to do with the election? You know, being blessed by that, whoever that situation is.
It has nothing to do with the election at all.
So,
I
if
think
you
no-
don't, if you
okay,
don't vote, is
you
that a mark that you don't believe in God?
you will not be blessed.
If you don't vote,
Yep. Because guess
You
what?
will not be blessed if you don't vote.
Yep. Because your ancestors died for that. So guess what? You owe them, if nobody else, your vote.
So what does that have to do with God?
I ain't say it had anything to do with God, but your ancestors that came before you might be a little closer to the throne than you are. So I would probably do right by them. You feel me?
mm.
I let that be my guide. I will call on support and answers from the ancestors. Like, yo, should I do this? Should I not? And I'm sure the response I would get would be something like, yeah, nigga, we died for your right to do that shit. We crawl so you can walk, my nigga. You better do something. Do something.
So what Dennis is saying that you're not gonna get no blessings if you don't vote from God.
Vote for God or from
I
God?
mean, God has got to be your determining factor in the vote.
Now that part,
That works.
can you further elaborate, Dennis, what that means?
Give them
Yes, I
background,
can.
Dennis, on what you heard on the radio.
Yeah, on the radio they were saying, and I had a preacher. He was making
Uh-huh.
reference to that. If we don't vote, that's not you don't believe in God. That's not a vote. We have to vote because it's a vote for God, and God's in the midst of
My
everything.
question is, what does God have to do with the vote to begin with?
My question is, what church does he run? Because so I don't go there. Because I don't think that's sound advice.
Why?
It don't sound like he got all the marbles.
What you
Like,
think, Sana?
because I think it's a false equivalency. It's a false equivalent.
Yes, we're gonna ask you.
Yeah. Sana.
You know, people are entitled to their opinion. I
Okay.
think that's an opinion.
Mhm.
And not necessarily a fact, but
Yes.
but I think people are entitled to their opinions. I
Okay.
don't think that God will stop blessing people if they don't. I mean, cast a ballot. I don't know. At least from what I understand about God, God's not that type of person.
You're not petty like that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'm just asking
I mean, I don't know.
for
He
a
gave his
friend.
son. Apparently, gave his son for all of our sins to be
Right.
forgiven. So I mean, like that's some shit. Because I ain't giving my child for y'all ass.
Okay. Right. Y'all
Not in this
unappreciative.
lifetime.
Right.
So
Right.
voting, and God doesn't go hand in hand.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean not necessarily?
What do you think? Because my question was, what does God have to do with voting?
Yeah.
No one is giving me that answer.
I think that he has something to do with everything in life. Not just the
Nothing to
election.
do with voting at all.
Why not? I mean,
With the election. What does he have to do with the
And
election?
everyone is entitled to their opinion.
so do you think the other side is evil? I mean, when you look at that,
It
because
depends
they
on
try
who
to.
you're speaking to.
Well, I was
Because
going to
you
say there's
might
people
think
on
one
their
side is
side.
evil and the other person might think a side is evil.
Well,
It depends
well,
on who you're speaking to.
That's usually
So
how this
there is
thing
no
works.
good and bad side then. There's no, I mean, the Democrats are not good and the Republicans are bad, or vice versa.
I don't understand what Democrats and
Actually,
Republicans
they
has to do
both
with anything.
ain't, I mean, ain't like the Democrats are all like, I don't know. They both got work to do when it comes to
Yeah.
black people.
Yes.
That one of them cast the first stone that ain't sin. I don't think anybody throwing anything. I think we have to all go home. So again, what does religion have to do with it?
I'm saying if you get not to vote, because a lot of people at churches have voting spots there for older people. People go there and listen to a preacher on what candidate to choose, what ballots to choose. Churches have a large influence. I'm
Isn't
saying
that
is
against the law to do that in
No,
church? Isn't that
actually, it's
stepping
not.
out of the 504?
So they can engage voters, they can register voters, and you're right,
Yep.
Dennis. There's a history of a program that's been run through black churches called Souls to the Polls, and they would take folks to go and vote
Souls to the
in the
poll.
church vans after service.
Like a strip
uh,
joint.
and
But is
things
that telling them who to vote on?
they should not be telling them who to
They
vote for. Churches are
are nonpartisan.
501c3s, just like we are. We can't
Yep.
Right.
They're
So
nonpartisan.
they can do like we do, nonpartisan.
Yes, you can register them. You can have candidates come and speak at the church. All
But
of
you
them
can't
have to
endorse.
be invited. You can't just pick and choose, people to come. They still have to follow those rules.
but they still be hinting to me when I'm sitting there on who I should vote for because they make it clear on how Mr. So-and-so is bad and Mr. So-and-so is good. There's a direct correlation between what the preacher says and what I believe in because I'm definitely going to believe in the way he believes because he's my pastor. He knows
Right.
what kind of person I am and he knows what I should think.
That's the
But
part.
don't the pastor put on his pants just like you do?
Yep.
Yes,
Every
but I
morning, he
feel
put his pants on like you. So why does the pastor have to be above you?
he's not above me, but I think he knows
You
more than me about what's going on. He's a man of the cloud.
how?
Because
Well, that answer could differ with each per individual. You know what I'm saying? There are some individuals who do feel that their pastor or religious leader is like the moral compass that you should follow behind because maybe they lead by example and maybe they do a lot of good stuff out in the community or whatever. But there are some who blindly,
Yes.
you know what I mean, will follow blindly. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if this pastor is a good person or not, they can be a really ishy person. But the fact that they're your pastor and they sell you dreams of a boat or dreams of riches and peace, if you go about it this way, which is essentially
Lakefront in the swamp.
pretty much that's every single pastor out there. I mean, they get paid to influence a group of people.
Their congregation.
And the congregation, right? And the loophole with that, just like Dennis was saying, he might go to church and he'll hear the pastor say that this one's such a bad man, this, that, and the other, but the other one, he's a good guy, whatever. That's the loophole. You know what I'm saying? Because they can say whatever they want to, freedom of speech, First Amendment right. Even as, a 501c3, they have freedom of speech, and that's the loophole. They can get around it and influence you to go.
But even who they invite, they only invite the so-called part of people who they like.
Right.
The part that they like always. They don't invite the other side. They're not partisan in that way on who they invite.
So
They
you
don't know
saying
the ones
because they
invite.
do that, you should vote what the church says because your pastor does that, you should vote for
Not
what he
necessarily.
says?
Yes,
I'm going by what
99. Listen,
Listen to Dennis.
99% gonna vote that way because their pastor said so.
Yep. And that's just because people are naturally followers and not leaders. You understand what I'm
So
saying?
the difference between the sheep and the lion.
No, it's the difference between R. Kelly the Pied Piper and maybe some really dynamic speaker that's really like a Black Lives Matter person going out there and telling you something. Y'all need to follow behind.
People are still sheep.
No, well, it's
they're gonna follow whatever line comes through.
Okay, the difference that I'm trying to illustrate here is that much like R. Kelly, for years, people blindly follow him and his trumpet of good, which is his music, into basically being people that are peddlers in a sense of pedophilia and child pornography, and people that actually are aiding and abetting a child pornographer and, you know, pedophile. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't look at it as that. They just look at it as it's an artist that's giving them some really good music, and they are supporting this person, and they're not going to diminish his accomplishments. And that's
Is it our fault that we made him our hero and everybody likes him to be the Pied Piper?
Hands
I mean,
down,
everybody worship R. Kelly. So I don't understand when you say that.
It's all our fault because we fed into it at some point. Now, though, there's some of us that got woke earlier than others and stopped following him, that stopped supporting him as soon as they found out he had married Aaliyah, just for an example. You know what I'm saying?
Is this the same as the church, or are we jumping something else?
No, I'm just making reference to the church. Yes, but I'm saying the following, the metaphor of following is the same thing as the church. He's going to make
same thing. Yes.
That they follow R. Kelly like they follow the church.
Right, because they know that he was a bad person. They know that he did dirt, but they still followed him.
So that brings me to ask you a question about heroes and superheroes. If you made R. Kelly a superhero, all superheroes, I mean, we just had superhero pass away.
Heroes die every day.
But the Black Panther, did he pass away?
Yep.
Is he dead, or is he just waiting for another character to take on his role?
Waiting on another character to take over his role? He did just like the rest of them. There's gonna be a new person playing Black Panther. They're already working on that.
So our heroes that we put our heroes like R. Kelly, or Black Panther,
Michael Jackson, Bernie Sanders,
Well, you have to remember, Black Panther didn't die.
Yeah, we're not. But
Bunswick, I mean, the guy that played his character died. I can't say his name right now. I'm not trying to be rude and mess his name up.
Right, he was using it as a metaphor. That's all. He wasn't saying technically the next person to play Black Panther. We ain't talking about the role Black Panther. We're just talking about.
We're talking about Black Panther as a hero.
Idea of an icon. We're talking about the idea of a hero. Idea, not the
and
role.
He's not going to die.
We're talking about a hero. He was a hero for other reasons, not just for Black Panther. He was a hero because he, as a cancer patient, kept working and kept giving of himself, and therefore.
But we weren't talking about that. We were talking about Black Panther at that moment. We were strictly talking about the movie Black Panther.
No, we talking about the actor that played.
Can you separate both of them? We have to separate the actor from the role he played in.
From the role.
That's where we were, separating the actor from the role.
But you kept talking about the movie.
Is it the difference between
separating it from the role and the character?
So can we separate religion from politics?
Okay, sure.
Can we separate religion from politics?
Yep, separate them.
How? If we can't accept the character from his role? Because forever in my life, Christopher Reeve is going to be Superman, no matter what.
I was about to say, you got that example with Batman and Superman. They've had different characters. James Bond. I mean, they've
changed him out every so many years.
Sean Connery is the only James Bond. I'm sorry.
Roger Moore was the real James Bond.
I don't care. He's old school, way back in the day. Sean Connery.
James Bond?
Huh?
Did Idris?
We had like 5 or 6 of them.
No, they never made Idris Elba James Bond.
Never made him a James Bond. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, they never did make him.
You know the white people go for that.
And now they're thinking about some Indian like
They couldn't do it.
So that's going back to the same thing. We have Boswick that played Black Panther. That's why we said we have to separate from the Panther. The Panther is not going to die. It'll be here forever, and they'll interchange people out in that order, and we'll change him out. But far as the actor himself, no, he's a great man. Even for all the other roles he played, he's a great man.
And that's what made him a hero in real life. That's what made him and his influence, for example, Dennis, one of those things that some people are gonna like follow behind that. They would follow behind a leader such as that, because he was being a leader outside of his roles. You know what I'm saying? However, the other people that we look to in our community as leaders, which include pastors and, you know what I'm saying, clergymen, also, you know, other influencers. In some communities, it's the griot or the person that's the storyteller. That's the hero. Some places, it's the shaman or the medicine doctor in the village. That's the hero. You know what I'm saying? It differs. So it's like whatever your hero is telling you, of course, sometimes blindly, and then sometimes with some critical thought, you're going to follow that thing or person. And so if your leader is telling you, hey, this nigga over here is the shit, this one isn't the shit, he's bullshit, you're gonna kind of go behind what your leader is saying, because guess what? My leader must know something. He's led us to this point. We've gotten whatever we've gotten from it. So let's go by it.
So is that nonpartisan?
Huh?
Is that nonpartisan?
That's the loophole. That's the loophole. They're not claiming explicitly nothing.
Aren't they talking about it though from the frame of good versus evil?
Right. They can, and that's the loophole. That's where the loophole comes in, because you can use,
like they would be using it. You know, they'd be saying this same.
Yeah, in a metaphoric way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And
so
that's how they get away with it.
So is that where we live at? Because religion does have a major effect on this politics, and if we don't get a part of the religious, how do we convince people about politics and really be serious?
I think it makes a big influence with a certain demographic, like an age group within that demographic, yes. But I do think that like generational things, just like your nephew would say, Ray, that's what separates it. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? The young adults or kids from the X generation, or let's say after the millennials on up, they're not gonna feel what your pastor is saying or something like that. Maybe not. I mean, unless they're getting brought up in the church, and that's a different story. But a lot
Still
of
agree
kids,
with you. They still have a different mindset on religion than we did.
But even they on the Kanye crew with the religion thing, you know, the Jesus blood.
And,
they're talking about voting for Kanye right now. They said
right.
really a
he's
really
more
big
of a leader than these niggas is to them.
Say it again.
I said he's more of a leader to them than these motherfuckers and politicians that we see. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, I've had 10 people in my office in the last 2 days, and all I'm saying, they want a coalition for Kanye to vote Kanye in to be the next
them niggas
president.
probably ain't even registered, so don't listen to none of them.
No, they're registered.
Okay, my bad. Let me.
Bless your heart.
But no. They caping for Kanye because probably they caping for him because that's the one nigga that they familiar with. They know the most about him. I mean,
most of the people that's looking at Kanye is not definitely researching the politicians and all of that.
Right? Because they don't.
They normally not doing the both.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. The only one reason that they're voting for Kanye that I keep hearing is the fact that he's black.
Yep. And that's all it takes for some niggas. Just like you know what? Hold up. My mother used to always say, "Oh, this a black movie coming out this weekend. We going to, you know what I'm saying? Like we get up for that shit. But if I say, Mom, let's go see Nightmare on Elm Street, see that shit. Wait till it come out on video. But as soon as the nigga, it don't matter which nigga, it don't matter how good the movie is or not, she's like, let's go support our niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, I get that mindset because in so many cases we are all we got. You know what I mean? So I do get that little itty bitty population that's like, oh, I'm just vote for Kanye because he's black. But see, the cool thing that Kanye is doing and playing into with this whole thing is that right there is what's gonna fuck the whole shit up. And it truly might make a close race between one qualified politician, one current incumbent, you know what I'm saying, or one incumbent and a politician. It'll make the difference between which one of them actually gets the seat in the end. Like that's the thing. And in that position that Kanye's currently in, it's coonery because
I disagree, Kevin. It's not coonery for a black man to run for president.
Nope, that's not. I'm not saying that idea is. I didn't say that Obama was. Did I say Obama was a coon? Nope.
But you referred to Kanye doing the same thing.
Let him tell us what he's talking about, so we can hear.
I'm saying him playing that position at this time in such a critical vote, a vote that very most likely means literally life and death, in a lot of people's cases around this country. Okay, we have a leader that's a person that's been appointed or voted in that cheated their way in by paying whoever, promising whatever, which is politics. That's all it is. Okay, and these electoral motherfuckers got him in office. Okay, great. He's in there. He's very incapable of doing the job. He's like the last person that should be doing that job. He's done a horrible job this last 4 years, but he's there, right? So we can't do shit about that. But get him out of there and get a more qualified person in that position, correct?
I don't
So
know
I
another
agree.
white man that's been doing the
okay,
same thing. They all
I'm
was
just
part of the
saying,
same party at some
Kanye
point.
ain't qualified
But
at
just
all.
because he's
He can't
black,
take
he's
his
gonna be
man.
different.
I don't want you leaving my country.
So you want another white man been doing it for generation after generation and no
And
let up on
no,
what they've been doing, but
I'm
not
going with
Kanye
somebody
West,
that has
and he's a
If
experience
that
in.
nigga
sellout.
knows, if that nigga
I'm
knows
going
how
with
shit works,
somebody that's got some experience in it. Do it just because he's black,
and
he's
it's got a
automatically
black woman on
qualified.
his side.
For 4 years, you've been going with somebody who ain't got no experience. Now, so you
No,
want to
we
say how
didn't.
you want
No,
some
No,
we
we
haven't.
experience.
didn't. No,
I
we
haven't
didn't.
gone not one
And
step
we
of the
have
way with
fought
that
all
nigga.
the way.
Nope.
Fought what? He's still president.
Nothing we can do about it because he is president.
So if Kanye
No,
wants
because
to
he's a
feel the
white
same way,
man.
there's
So
nothing
if
you
we
can
do
do
him the
about it.
same way, okay, then if he gets something, doesn't mean I'm gonna vote for him to help him get there, and he doesn't know what he's doing. That's
Look,
crazy.
I
Just because he looks like me,
we
I should
see
just
what that gets us.
automatically put him there.
Right.
We see what that gets
What does that get us?
It gets us a Trump
Right. Somebody who's had no experience at all in politics, trying to get in and run some shit that he knows
and got fucked up ideas
fuck about.
and got fucked up
And we've
ideas on top
already
of that.
gone through that.
Yeah.
We just got
Yeah.
to going through
So
4
we know
years
better.
of that.
Why am I gonna get a nigga,
Do
a
it
person who,
again.
right? And you know, niggas, we got to do shit 2 times better than white people. So you know, his ass would get in office and do it 2 times worse.
And what makes it so
than Trump.
bad, Kanye has already told you, I know nothing about politics. I just want to see if I can do it. So
Right.
why would
Now
I
ain't
go
the
for
time to
something
be.
like that when I know I got this chick over here that know her job? She's already ran a country, ran a state almost as big as the United States. Why would I go to Kanye?
You're talking about
And
the vice
Kamala
Kamala
president?
Harris.
Kamala.
She ran California. That is the
She,
largest
But who is
state in this.
she is a vice president, not the president.
You don't know what may
Biden
turn
will be
out
making
after
the
that.
rules.
You
But
don't know
she's.
what goes on
I
behind
think.
that.
I think she's still, even with that, she's still more qualified to be
100.
in the position she's going for than Kanye is for any of those positions.
And a
even
black woman has never
even as
been
press
in that
secretary,
position.
he couldn't do it because you
And
don't know how to
you
shut the
don't
fuck up
know
and write.
what Kamala brings
My
to
bad.
the table other than what you've already been through. There's never been a female, better yet, a black female in that position. You don't know what kind of power she'll wield.
But she
Right.
You
won't
don't
have
know
more power
what
than the
she,
president.
And you know what? But
but
she'll
you
still
don't know
have.
what power he gives her.
But guess what? You know how much influence and how much that's gonna mean to black women, little black girls across this country
Every one of them.
that we constantly ain't there for, that we constantly don't support when they really need us, that constantly show up for us. I think in a kind of spiritual or figurative kind of way, I mean, she represents a lot of shit. Okay, and we can debate her record and some of the things that she's done as an attorney general or a prosecutor, because that was the job. As a prosecutor, your job is to fucking prosecute the criminals to the best extent of the law, whatever, blah blah blah. That shit that they say. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm sorry, if some of her shit was questionable, if she didn't get behind police reform earlier and shit, I can't make her suffer for some mistakes she made in the past. Because I'm sure after going on campaign and shit, she's learned a lot.
And on top of that, that was her job, Kevin. Just like you said, it was her job. It's not like she could just go and run around and say, I'm not going to do this. You
Right.
don't have, she was never in that position she can make them kind of claims. So it was a part of her job. Kevin, this
but
is the
even
most
still,
time I've
with that,
agreed with you more than anything tonight.
I know, right? But
Yes,
even with
I'm
all
agreeing
that,
with
she's way more qualified to do a position like that. She's raised money. She's held a successful campaign. She put enough of an imprint on the hearts and minds of all these people that vote Democrat or even were undecided during this time, because they were the ones that were on Joe Biden's ass. Like, yo, if you're gonna pick anybody to be your running mate, anybody, it needs to be her.
You should definitely be a black female.
You are gonna lose the black community. You are gonna lose the black vote.
Right.
But Kanye don't have a major party behind him. They have a major party behind them. The reason why they've gotten so far.
And so you say that to say
so
what?
Kanye's, what he's running as independent or what?
He has to be independent.
And
He was just running as an independent with no experience.
No one
An
independent.
independent with no experience. Why would you run
He
out
raised
with
just as much money. He's done just as much as they did, and they got a whole
As
party
what?
behind them.
What has he done? How has he even matched Kamala?
That
Let's
is a
go
good way
there.
to get more money. You file bankruptcy so that you don't have to give up some of the shit you got. I get it. I get
And
it.
again, how does he
That's
even
a right
mention
of all
Kamala
Americans
Harris?
to file. That's a right of all Americans to file bankruptcy. That's not special exclusive to
But I'm
Kanye.
saying, so there's nothing that he has
Well, even
done.
as that, because your president you got now filed 6 of them.
I know.
But
So
that's
we're
a
not even going to
business
talk
move.
about that.
That's a business move. That's not something against somebody. Everybody
It
do
Because
that.
shows you
don't-
have bad business practices.
That is not true. That's an American
That
way.
does show you. That does. You better look that up. That shows you have bad business practices. If
So
every
people who started
business you
business and
do,
didn't finish
you
them,
have to file bankruptcy.
if you got a
No.
business and didn't finish it,
You
you got
have
bad business
bad
practices
business
too.
practices. You better get a legal attorney to ask questions on that.
Oh
That is
my.
bad business practice.
Maybe
Maybe
that's where the
one time you
expert comes
did
in. We
it.
need to find that expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Maybe
don't think
one
that's
time you filed bankruptcy, but 6 times every business you've got,
that's
you
good
filing a
business.
bankruptcy. How's that good
But that's
business? For
that's the
whom?
reason why he's a billionaire now.
America has allowed us to use
That's
the
why he's
bankruptcy.
getting ready to go to jail now, because now they following his record and cleaning that record up. That's why Trump organization has been torn down because of all that bad business.
I see who you.
There's no foundation no
I see
more.
what side you're
Now,
on.
all of that. I follow Donald Trump, so you can't just all of that kind of crap.
I see
It's
what
been a
side you
loser
on.
since.
Yeah.
What's the side is? I still vote for the black female.
Ah.
Let's get that clear. Because you can tell me anything that makes Kanye more qualified than she, then we can discuss. I'll shut my mouth.
Let's bring it back to Joe Biden, though, because he's running for president. Trump is running for president. Kanye wants to run for president. Okay. Either way, he's not. Neither one of the motherfuckers, Trump or his homeboy Kanye, are qualified for politics. Period. I don't see no track record of shit political for either one of them.
I agree.
Other than The Apprentice and him being the deciding vote on that, telling the motherfucker you're quiet. That's all the political power he ever had until now. Until he got all y'all white motherfuckers to start feeling the type of way because niggas is making way more money than they ever have. And Latinos and other people, other immigrants are coming in here and doing a lot with what being given like way less. So he's polarizing all the white people that's crying and complaining about everybody, all them niggas, them double standard ass niggas. He gets all them pumped up, and that's how he got
scared.
They're scared as fuck.
Because we're gonna be the majority,
Mhm.
Is that what it is? The browning of America is too much?
It is.
Hell yeah, it is. That's the only reason why they act now.
Is that what's controlling this vote?
But just
Okay, gotta bring the butts in.
I'm
Listen.
just saying we are browning, but are we gonna be able to get the fuck together and do some shit?
Right.
No, I can believe a conversation like this over the religion.
You know what I'm saying, to make sure that we're ready to take that power, and use it in a way that we actually can do something and address the shit that we really want to address.
Mm-hmm.
Can we address? Okay, Sana, I don't interrupt you, but how do we take real power? What does that mean?
Oh well.
But I've told y'all before, you got to become the deciders. That's one way. Like for me, politics is involved in everything, every fucking fabric of your daily life. I have
Even when you get
a
married.
colleague who always uses this example of like the tags that's on the back of your shirt or the tags that are on your pillows and shit. When you buy that shit's on there because there's a law that says it has to fucking be on it.
Right.
Everything is controlled through that realm, unfortunately. And so until we become the people that are making those decisions, and there's got to be people who view the world like we view the world, not just brown and black people.
Right.
Because in my Senate district, I got a black man that's running, but he's a Republican. And my current senator is a Hmong man. It's actually decent, you know what I'm saying? But I know that black man ain't for me in my community.
Right. All right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's not just about looking for like the brown people, but it's people like who share our vision of what this world could be and should be.
Right.
Those people making those decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Shared commonality.
And stepped up and ran for office across the country. We need more people to become the deciders, and not just elected officials.
Right, right.
Go to school and learn community development and become the city fucking planner, where
Uh-huh.
you can have a safe input
On
around
redlining.
affordable housing
Uh-huh.
decisions and shit, within the
Uh-huh.
city.
Yep.
Become the city,
That's real power. You got the pen.
like folks that become the district attorneys, you know what I'm saying? In some
Yeah.
places. So you can control whether or not
Right,
you
right.
charge,
So it's not
or,
just about
we do
or
juvenile,
it's not just elected officials.
Right, right.
Go to school and learn community development and become the city fucking
Hold
planner.
up. Dennis, turn your shit down.
Have a safe input around affordable.
Turn that down. Shit. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. I'm
Thank
done.
you.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going. You were going in his background, just messed
You
us
was on a
up.
good one. You was on a fire rant. I love it.
Go for it.
Hold up. Who muted her?
I'm done.
No,
Muting
she did,
myself.
no, you ain't through yet. He done
I was
told you
about to
off
say, they
track
haters.
now.
No, I'm
They
done.
That's
haters.
Dennis hating on people.
Dennis the hater.
No, we muted you, dude. I had to mute you, dude, because you wouldn't let us talk.
Unmute him.
Your
Unmute him.
background.
That's one way, Dennis, that we can have some real power is we become the one that's making the fucking decision.
Yeah, yeah. And even like just like you were saying, like being the ones on the local level that say, get on certain committees. You get on your city council, like city council, people like frown at that position, or they try to belittle some of our city councilors like they ain't shit just because they on city council. But no, that's a good ass position to have. That's a good place to start even.
Definitely, because you still have the power of the pen. Still have the power of the pen.
You have a louder amplified voice than your average citizen. Yes.
Yes.
Power of the pen, that's actually changed a lot over the years, because it takes the pen, it takes the voices, it takes the people that are willing to do those really crazy actions like hold up a whole freeway. You know what I'm saying? It takes all of those things working to get together. And that's
Out
exactly
to the BLM crew from back in the day.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the things too that historically has allowed our movements to dissipate, that has allowed our movements to just end with one person getting jailed or one person getting killed. You understand what I'm saying? There weren't enough of us galvanizing at the same time to say, hey, we ain't about that no more. You know what I'm saying? We need to move in this direction, sync up. What they did, however, was introduce more drugs, more guns, more deterrence into our day-to-day lives, including technology and TV. You know what I'm saying? To keep us numb and keep us misinformed, and to just start kind of adding on a whole bunch of bullshit to some ideas that were probably already bullshit. So we have an opportunity now, since we got the advancement of technology and we got the internet. It encourages more independent thinkers, but I do think that we need to get a little better at weeding out what's the message to really internalize and which ones are you need to throw out with the rest of the bullshit.
But that whole thing you just said
Uh-huh.
is based on the fact that we believe in something. Now, I'm not going to coin a phrase of what it is again, but how do we get that, whatever that belief is, and the fact of religion, and the fact of politics?
Whose religion?
Okay. We deal with, I didn't want to say his name, but we deal with God, religion, and politics.
Who's God?
I don't know whose God is who. I'm trying to figure out how do we make the intersection.
Because this is a planet and everybody has their own
Where
religion.
Where is the intersection where those come together in our speech to get across to people? If you don't have some kind of way to like bridge that gap, it's difficult.
Well, for some people it is God. For others, it's music. For others, it's actual. You know what I'm saying? Money. It's finances. For some, hold up, Sign, I can't hear you. You muted. Unmute. Sign, unmute yourself. You're muted.
I'm talking to my kid. What'd you say?
Oh, my bad.
But Kevin, you did list off quite a few things.
Yeah.
As people's gods. That's why I'm asking, which God are you referring to?
Right. And see, and that's the thing, like that question can vary depending on who you ask. So I don't think that it's necessarily, we should use God to bring everybody to whatever their decision's gonna be.
Because everybody's got one that's different. Nobody
or
all
not believe
lives
at
in the
all.
same. Thank
You
you.
know what I'm saying? But I think that the reality, I think the thing is we got facts in front of us. We have science, we have technology, we have facts, right? And me, you know, my personal path with that would be I would do my argument based on reality, based on facts, based on what we've seen and what we're currently seeing. I would not necessarily bring the whole thing about religion and some lofty ideas and some stuff that we have no proof of being real. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like separating church and state. You know what I'm saying? It's the
That's
same thing.
bringing people's blind faith into it.
Right. Because a
And
lot
that's
of
not
times
everybody's thought.
people have that faith because it's been hammered into their head or it's been threatened upon them, it's been pushed upon them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
Because
kind of
grandma did it, and great grandma did it, and
right.
grandma before her, and
Not
granddaddy,
because
and
you
all of
believe,
them.
not
Right,
because you
everybody.
believe. It's
So
just a
you don't believe in
ritual,
tradition?
huh?
Whose tradition?
I believe in tradition. Hold up, I believe in tradition, but there's
But
a
whose?
difference between tradition and you know what I'm saying. Being you can still have a tradition and still be an independent thinker. You can think that some of those traditions or rituals are outdated and fucking archaic, and you can make a choice to either institute new ones or to totally throw away the old ones and not have any more.
Well, since we
You
here
know
in
what
the
I'm saying?
United States and we getting ready to vote, whose religion should we be looking at since we in the United States and we're all a diverse community?
And that's why we should take religion out of it.
I wholeheartedly believe in that
Yeah.
because we're diverse.
Now
Nobody
I think that,
believes in the same thing.
and but to Dennis's point though, I get what you're saying as far as like the influence of the church on our,
For
the black
those that
community
go to
in
go
particular.
to church.
For those that go to church, and even some that don't actively go. I mean, I know a lot of people that don't actively go to church, but still are living their lives based upon the things that they learned as children or in vacation Bible school. I totally see that. However,
Okay.
again,
Life experiences.
life experiences are the things that kind of make you realize or wonder, question, is what you learned in religion or whatever real, or is it valid, all that kind of stuff. And again,
God damn
like,
it, Kevin. We are two peas in a pod tonight. You are awesome.
so I think a combination of those things, and it all depends on the person, man. There's some people that are cool with being followers. There are certain people that are cool with not thinking for themselves, because guess what? It's not as extensive of work to do. You know what I'm saying? I know plenty of
Yep.
people like that. However, when it comes to this, the politics, because me, I hate politics. I hate everything fucking about it. And for good reason. Y'all already know what some of those reasons are, because I'm sure y'all probably hate these same things in politics. But for the purpose of this and the purpose of, okay, we know that religion has a big thing to do with, I wouldn't say to do with, but it has a big influence on a large number of people in our community. That's a fact. And I
Agreed.
I agree with that. However, I think we don't have the conversation enough about how people in a mission to maybe get to a higher consciousness, even how they should ditch their masters and masters. I'm saying it in the sense of your religion is what your slave master taught your great whatever.
Mhm.
And so if you're living your life based upon the religion that your oppressor put to
Taught
you
you.
in order to keep you in line, then those are the people that will follow blindly. Those are the people that, even with all the life experience they've got, still continue to believe that, hey, if I just keep on giving this half of my check to my pastor and keep showing up to this brick and mortar place every Sunday, then I'm gonna get into heaven, or I'm gonna not suffer like everyone else suffers. But then they suffer just like everybody else in some type of way. But they'll chalk it up to, this is God testing me, which I don't know. Like, after enough suffering, you do tell yourself, or at least a person with sense, in my opinion, would tell themselves, okay, you know what? I done did all this praying. You know what I'm saying?
And nothing working
this way, and I'm still getting fucked up. So maybe I'm spending a little too much time, you know what I'm saying, on these lofty ideas, and not with my head planted in reality, what I'm seeing every single day in front of my face.
Is that your reality?
I think everybody has a reality.
But I'm saying, you're making it seem like you can just all of a sudden forget about what you learned, come to a conclusion, and move on.
I'm saying if you have what you learned, right, and then you grow up,
life experiences get involved, is what you're saying.
and your life experiences tell you the opposite, the total opposite, and you've had just as many experiences telling you the opposite as you had some motherfuckers sermoning you or lecturing you
Right.
on the God stuff. I, as a person who would see reality versus the idea or versus the fantasy, I would be more inclined to follow what I am seeing, or at least invest
Your
my
experiences.
seeing and experiences. If my experience is bad, that praying does not get me out of a fucking traffic ticket. That hey,
We're losing you, Kevin.
causes that, well, you know, which in turn brings me more financial hardship or takes away my
We're losing. I can't hear you.
and I'm just right here.
I think you're in there somewhere. You know,
That bridge or something.
right. But I think you back, Kevin?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead.
You know, when we look at this, and I've been in religion all my life since I was knee high to a chicken. I was a Saturday Adventist. I became a Muslim. I became greater AME. So I mean, through all that, I have certain beliefs that I can't really shed, and it's based on what I thought. Because I mean, all my life, no matter what, since I was little, and this has nothing to do with politics. I always thought the Democrats was the good people and Republicans were the bad people when I was growing up. My dad drilled that in me, like, those Republicans don't want to have nothing to do with us. And, but those blue people do. And he didn't even understand what he was saying. He was just
Now,
making a
if your
reference.
parents taught you that, and you haven't learned nothing in the last 50 years, then there's something going on with
I don't
that.
think it.
Well,
Because
No,
that
because
has
you
nothing
can
to do with
listen.
religion.
No, I don't think that. Okay, I'm 50 years old. That's not what I
Right.
learned in 50 years.
You said your
right, let him
parents
talk.
drilled that into
But
you when
that
you was
came.
younger.
Listen, from knee high to a chicken, until I damn near 25, they instilled those values. Now I come out, I had to get married, I had to do the things I
Yep.
thought were right, and come to grips with those things wasn't right in my own mind. But that was later on when I was like 25, 30 something. So 25 of those years cannot count for me changing my mind. Even the 10 years spent,
That's your intake. If that's the time when you took all that information in.
but I
You're
mean,
talking about the experiences you've
even
had since
being
then.
me being married was something that was made up, the whole thing. That in my day, you had to do that. That was a prerequisite. So you making like I did 50 years of just no. I'm just coming to my own conclusion saying all those things erase and make my own mind up now because even relationships then were based on what I learned from my going to church, all the things I've had to do with my parents, even getting hit with talking about you just blaspheme. Because right now, me talking to this and saying this, if they hurt me, I'm blaspheming. I get pinched or hit or bumped or something. Say you can't say that, and that was what happened. So how do I unlearn that?
Well, you unlearn it. Well, I don't know. You see a therapist for one.
That was good
First and
answer.
foremost.
Good answer.
Somebody has to help you kind of unpack that shit because there's a lot to unpack. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, if you do have 25, 30 years of being told something, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna kind of be hard to just shed something overnight, and I get that totally. However, if you have your life experiences, which to me scream way louder than anything that anyone else has told me, even the stuff that my parents told me that ended up being true. Like, guess what? You're gonna wish you were still a kid because as an adult, you're gonna be paying bills, yada yada yada. Like, I've known that to be true all through my adult life, that they were right about that. I do, even up to my mother's, deathbed, I knew that what she felt, or at least I felt that what she felt about where she was going to be going or how all of this worked, I might not agree with it, but I wasn't about to like kill her, you know what I'm saying? What her belief or whatever. I wouldn't want to do that because that's giving her some type of comfort. However, when it came to voting and stuff, they voted based upon what they believed, which candidate they believed would be more so on our side. It just so happens that most of the candidates, at least from what I remember growing up and seeing stuff for all these campaigns, Reagan's campaign, Dukakis and that motherfucking Bush, all that kind of stuff, the people that were talking the most good shit to us as black people were the Democrats. So, I mean, if somebody's telling you, hey, I can fuck you way better than that motherfucker can over there, and then they've shown you, in a sense, at least on the surface, that they got a big dick or that they know how to use it, you know what I'm saying? Then you probably gonna be apt and you get comfortable with getting fucked the good way, like you getting fucked by, the Democrats, for example. But what we've come to learn recently, because this wasn't like something we've had as a community, knowledge that we've had like for the last 50 years, but the internet has helped us get to the point in which now we can, with some discrimination, you know what I'm saying, say, okay, my beliefs are lining up with this person, but they have a history or they have this proven path of decisions being made in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have that back in the 80s. We didn't have, my parents didn't have that in the 70s and 60s. They didn't have like this wealth of information that could really influence what you're believing or who you're getting behind, because all that information was kept from us. Remember, back in the day, all they had to do was put it in a book. We don't read, right? But now that we have the internet, see, they fucked up with the internet, because guess what? We learned how to use computers quickly, and we found out how to get answers quickly. And I think that with that that influx of all this information we're getting now, it's divided us more so because we got more things to go on. We have more facts to put to the table to decipher which is what, get rid of whatever bullshit and make whatever the best decision is for yourself. So I think that's, I get what you're saying as a concept that is going to be hard to unlearn something that you've been pounded for like the last, 25, 30 years. Yeah. But based on your reality and what you are seeing as a sexual being, you understand what I'm saying? You could
ask one more question, Kevin?
In a way that contradicted what they taught you.
Kevin, okay, what? You said that you didn't want to bring your mom's ideal of what her God was down. How do I live my life and not? My mom's still here, so when I talk to her, I'm like, God has something to do with election. She feels. So how do we talk?
You still need a therapist. You gonna need a therapist. We are not therapists on this phone. You gonna need therapy for that.
I'm not asking.
I'm helping you out, Kevin.
Okay, I got the therapy part. I'm just still trying to say, when I talk to her today, I have to listen within that, so I won't. How do you say it? So, I don't want to, piss her off on what she thinks, because she thinks what she's doing
is right.
It's valid just as much as I think what I'm doing is valid.
But does your life experiences jive with what she's saying?
We on live. I can't answer that.
Okay. It'll get you in trouble.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying and I hear what you're not saying.
Right.
What I'm saying, but I'm saying, you choosing to not do something like, say, bring your mother's beliefs or spiritual foundation down is one thing. I don't know, like, what I'm going to ask you again with your mother's situation is, does your mother think that, God has a lot to do with this election and he's saying that I should vote for Trump? Is that what she's saying?
No, I mean, okay, I think in general.
What if she did? What if she did say that? What if your mother was telling you that? Just go with that. What if your mother was telling you should vote for Trump? Now I know in your heart, because you're my friend, that's not the way the cross you really would go. But because your mother said that, what would you do?
I don't know.
Oh, well, let me answer that question. if my mother
your mom
said that,
told you that,
I would tell her, Mom, no disrespect, but say that shit to me in the next 6 months when you sitting up here on the street. You know what I'm saying? Because he done took away fucking Social Security and Dad's no longer getting paid to be disabled. You understand what I'm saying? And all this other stuff is uprooted. Tell me that then, if that's the case.
It's always individual thought.
It's always individual. At the end of the day, it's always individual thought. Mom, you're just gonna have to be mad at me, but no, I don't believe that Trump is the best for us. No, Mom, he hasn't shown it, he hasn't proven it, and he's done nothing his whole life but berate and belittle Black people overall, including most especially Black men, young Black men.
He said y'all Blacks are gonna take over the suburbs,
and y'all niggas we ain't letting you niggas come out here. You feel me?
Right.
And guess what? White
Knowing
folks
that
will
we
tell you,
live in
you don't have
mostly
to worry.
suburbs.
I'm gonna make it so that they don't come out here. So come vote for me, and that's all it takes for some people, you know. But it's enough of us should be like, you know what, you mother, no, because I wish the motherfuckers would tell me I can't move into a neighborhood or tell me that this country, any place in this country that I know my ancestors died for, that they put their blood is on the fucking streets, the blood is on the buildings. You understand what I'm saying? I'd be
Fortunately, we're
damned if
this
you tell
age
me
that
where
we
I
can
can
do
go.
that.
I'd be damned if you tell me where I can go. So that's my thing. So that shit like that doesn't line up with my belief. So guess what? I'm not gonna vote for that bitch. I know that much. Now me
I
and these other motherfuckers,
see.
we got to have some discussion.
I see that you have strong beliefs, Kevin.
Cause I
I
don't trust them
understand.
niggas either.
But
You know
you
what I'm saying?
still didn't even answer yours, Dennis. I mean, we just using hypothetical to end out this conversation because we're getting close to the end.
Yes,
If
very
your
good.
mother called into the show
China's
and
talking.
said,
China's talking.
"But I'm sorry, Sana," but if your mother called in and asked,
I'm gonna save you, Dennis, so you don't gotta answer
okay,
the question. Because we only got like 5 minutes. Gonna come
Niggas
on.
cannot be saved.
It's Brandy and Monica.
okay.
All right. First, let's
Yes.
y'all. Come on, Brandy and Monica. Who y'all?
Ready, Monica's gonna
Brandy.
win.
No,
Monica.
Brandy. Brandy all day.
So we
Wait,
got
you know what?
Monica, 2
Brandy
votes.
got Moesha. Brandy had a baby. Brandy had an accident. Brandy killed
But
somebody.
Monica can
Brandy
sing
is
better.
that.
She can do all that. She's the better singer.
Monica can
Right.
sing
It's
better.
about the musical
The
product
music.
content that they have put out.
Brandy has put out way more
Monica
content. She's
versus
put out
Brandy.
better content, and she's the shit. And she layers her
And
vocals
Brandy
way
was-
better.
Days, come on.
Brandy
What?
was at Pride. Brandy did Pride for us last
Right.
year.
It
Monica
didn't
ain't
matter.
come up for
It didn't
Pride.
matter. Monica still sings better than Brandy. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
but she only got 2
change.
songs to sing. She only got 2 songs to sing. Come on.
Come on now.
And one of those songs was
And
with
one of the songs
Brandy.
is a song with her, right?
And they
Like,
gonna
Boy
do
Is Mine.
the album together. They're gonna do some songs with a little album together. Y'all remember they
We-
did that collaboration?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna be good though.
I think it
Okay,
is too.
so-
I can't- what time it start?
It starts right after this podcast.
It
Oh,
starts
shit.
at 7:00. So once we're done, everybody switch on it and go live.
Is
Well,
it 7
first
East or
is on
7
Instagram.
Central? Because that's the thing.
Central. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
7 Central.
Okay.
8 o'clock Eastern.
And it's gonna be on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So let's just go ahead and call it what it is. Until we meet again, we got 2 people for Monica. We got 2 for Brandy.
Go Brandy.
Talk about it on Wednesday.
Go Monica. Go Monica.
But
So
you know
we
what?
gonna come back on Wednesday and settle this.
We're gonna talk about it. But it ain't even a competition. It's like they celebrate. They're basically it's a
Yeah.
celebration of their music. So
So
let's
you
not
can
look
tell
at
we
it.
all in
Let's
the
not look
same
at it like
age
niggas
group.
look at
we like
know
both
who
of them.
y'all
So
are.
we all in the
Brandy's
same
first
age
Me
group.
album,
and
you can
Simon,
listen to the
me and Simon
whole
and another
thing
age
all the
group.
way
You
through.
two are.
Huh?
What you
Me
talking
and Simon are.
How old you think I am?
See, y'all all the same. We all in the same age.
No, we not.
Yes,
Well,
Kevin, you
well,
and Steiner are the
I'm
same
over
age.
40.
That's what I'm saying. So me and Simon are in the other generation. Y'all before us.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for tonight's show. We're glad y'all came out to hang out with us. We will be
Wakanda
back
forever,
on
y'all. Wakanda
Wednesday. And Wednesday conversation, from what I heard, is all about Kanye West. So
Really?
Wakanda forever. We'll remember Chad Boseman. And
Yes.
everybody for joining us.
Forever
Everybody say us
Peace.
out.
Peace.